Listen now, we the talk around town. Alex threw the ball to Smokey for a touchdown. Ha. It's fourth down and you don't really want no more. We've been winning from the door. You should check the scoreboard. Ha. Check the scoreboard.
Welcome back to another episode of the Scoreboard. It's been a while. We've had some breaks because there was absolutely no sports going on whatsoever, so nothing to talk about because no scores were happening. But finally, we're getting out of the slump a little bit because the NFL draft is on the horizon. It's happening next week, obviously, and it's about time for something else to happen because it was getting pretty boring, and I'm assuming a lot of people look at it the same way with all the leagues shutting down, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But Smokey, it's good to be back.
It is, man. It's real good to be back. Crazy times we're living in, and you know what I hate? The XFL is gone for eternity, man. That Jesus. Well, I guess they officially said they just suspended through the 2021 season, but I don't think it comes back, man.
I mean, they suspended it. They laid off every employee, and they just registered for bankruptcy. And by the way, if you've looked through the bankruptcy files a little bit, a lot of very dubious things in there that were promised a different way. The WWE actually owned like a quarter of the Class B stock of the XFL, which it was specifically said the WWE would not have any involvement in it. And it's not looking good.
I thought
financially,
that was
the league apparently was already failing.
And the COVID-19 was the final blow, of course, but I thought it was a given, though, that WWE was going to have stocks in it, considering WWE stocks paid for a giant portion of the funding to start the league.
Yeah. Well, it was said that the WWE would not be involved with this time because that's what hurt it a lot in the last time the league came around, and it's hard to believe that this one lasted even a shorter amount of time than the first one because it was really good, and there was a lot of things that the NFL should probably take an example of, but this league is going to be gone for sure. At least a couple of players were able to show off to probably get some NFL spots. I think we're going to be looking at some interesting ones there. We already have one, your favorite, of course,
PJ Walker. Yeah,
and I have to give you credit to the exact team you projected to.
Yes,
weeks
I did.
Before it happened.
I saw that coming. I mean, of course, he was his coach over at Temple. I wanted to say Matt Rule. Jesus. Names.
That's correct. You said you had projected specifically, and this happened. This is true. You know it's true because I'm saying it. While the XFL was still going on, Smokey said, "This is going to be the Panthers quarterback room next year. It's going to be Cam Newton. It's going to be PJ Walker, Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
Now it's not. Now it's Teddy Bridgewater instead of Cam Newton. No, that's a slight mistake there. But the PJ Walker is correct, and
we'll see about Jalen Hurts. It's still a possibility.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it now too. Since they picked up Bridgewater, but I thought it would have been an interesting concept if they would have kept Cam though and had two, fallback plans in place there. But
they could have ran like a 3-quarterback offense. Like how the Saints run a 2-quarterback offense sometimes? They could have run 3. Because 2 of them can legitimately play receiver too.
Yeah, giant jumbo quarterback set.
Yeah.
You could run some triple option out there with 2. I mean, they're all running quarterbacks, so why not?
Yeah. That would have been a sight to see for sure.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I suspect some team will probably jump on Hurts way before it's time and way before the Panthers will consider it there. But that's what we're going to get into, obviously. NFL draft is coming up very soon. It's going to be probably the most interesting one we've seen. Roger Goodell is going to be standing on a podium in his basement live streaming the picks, which is going to be interesting. I wonder if they're going to play in like the boos, like the noise, just artificially funnel in so you can get kind of into the feeling.
Like wrestling where you just pump in the crowd noise.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what they're probably going to do whenever he steps up. So
Goodell might pump in some cheers. He's like, yeah.
The 1 year. The 1 year. It's finally happening.
Just see what that feels like.
Yeah. I'm going to make use of this, probably. So we have the Bengals on the clock. We've had the Bengals on the clock for a long time, and for a long time, everyone in the world of football has pretended like pick is already in. It's made, it's done, it's over. Joe Burrow is a Bengal.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to say this right away. I have a dog in this race. Long ago, I made a bet with you, and you know this, in which I said that Tua Tagovailoa would be the Cincinnati Bengals' first overall pick, or the Cincinnati Bengals pick. I said this before Tua got hurt, before I think even the season started, or just when the NFL season had started, and when the Bengals were in no way guaranteed to have the number one overall pick. So that part of my prediction is correct. The Tua one, I'm hoping will be correct. It seems unlikely if the public is to be trusted.
Well, I personally think Tua is going to be a Dolphin. A lot of people think
he's going to be a Dolphin.
Herbert is going to be a Dolphin, as a matter of fact. But
oh yeah, I've heard that.
And that would leave Tua to the Chargers, maybe.
I'd like that.
Possibly the Jaguars, but yeah, I don't know. I think Burrow. I think it's a shoe-in, man. I don't think there's much. He's the Kyler Murray of last season. Like, there's not much chance they go any other.
He's completely different from Kyler Murray, and remember last season it was like until draft day. There was talk about the first overall pick. Could it be Quinn Williams? Could it be Nick Bosa? Could they trade it down? Because they had Josh Rosen still on the roster from the year before. So I feel like this seems much more done already.
More times than not, whenever we see the first team on the board that needs a quarterback, the Heisman winner is that quarterback. More times than not. It
does happen a lot. Yeah, that is true. Now, I'm going to make a bold statement. In a vacuum, or not even in a vacuum, just normally, Tua is the best quarterback in this class.
Oh yeah,
and
I
the
agree with that.
only reason that Burrow is right now the favorite to go first overall is because that injury history of Tua, you got to say it fairly. He had his virtual pro day. He had his medicals, his physicals, and he seems fine. He says he's 100% now. He could play football today, is a quote that I've heard. So if that's true, and of course a team that might be in the race, might be heavily invested in quarterbacks this year, will make sure to check that to the best of their currently given abilities. Of course, mostly you got the video conferences. Unfortunately, I think that hurts him a little bit too, because he can't go all the places and work out for people live at the moment. I think if that's true, and you can confirm it, you get your own staff to confirm it, as speaking for the Bengals, why not? Why would you not then pick Tua with the first overall pick if you believe this to be accurate? Because 100% Tua is better than 100% Burrow. At least that's my opinion. They might look at it differently.
Well, if it were me, as I tell you the truth, I would go with Tua because I think he's an overall better athlete. He's more gifted. He's quicker, but Joe Burrow coming off of it kind of reminds me of Andrew Luck, maybe, just coming off of one of the greatest seasons in college football history. And you know how teams have a championship bias. It's almost like when teams are drafting, these general managers and whoever is in their draft room, these guys get together and it's almost like they only watch maybe the playoffs each season, like they're not watching the seasons themselves. So you see that every season. It's like whoever was in the playoffs, those players are definitely getting first round nods, and any of the guys that are up for the draft are definitely going, and it's almost without fail we see that. Alabama,
it seems,
Alabama, I mean, even Georgia, we've seen that once they started making the playoffs or making the championship games, the players started flying off the board up top. And I don't know. If it were me, though, I would definitely take Tua. I believe in Tua much more, and I think maybe he doesn't have a longer career, but I think the seasons that Tua plays, he has better seasons than Joe Burrow.
I think that Tua, take out the athletic, the running aspect, say his injury, like he wasn't 100%, his injury was just hypothetically, the hip injury was so bad he will never be a mobile quarterback. All right, he's going to have to adjust to being a pocket passer. Worst case scenario. I'll still take him over Joe Burrow. Not discrediting Joe Burrow in any way. He's great. He's worthy of a number one overall pick. Last year, he would have been number one overall pick easily, because this quarterback class is everything that last year's was not. And it's, once again, everything that the previous year to that one's was. And that's sort of a cyclical thing. If you've been paying attention, every other quarterback class tends to be quite a bit stronger than the following one, which is due to the fact that all the very talented juniors come out. Now, next year, we know we'll have Trevor Lawrence, obviously, but say he were a junior, he would have been gone this year. And then the college football will be drained for a year. So that's usually how that cycle goes. So Tua, to me, the best quarterback, maybe the best player in this draft overall. And if he hadn't gotten hurt, I don't think it would have ever been a debate, because I think Alabama would have won the championship if Tua doesn't get hurt. I think he wins the Heisman if he doesn't get hurt, and he goes first overall. Should not be any debate about this. Now, realistically, I'd have to think they'll take Joe Burrow. There's not going to be that much noise and that much certainty about it if there's not something to this, because everyone's talking like it's a done deal. And as much as they want to keep stuff secret, there is a certain amount of insider leakage every time up to the draft. And when the pick is seemingly already made, as much as the team might deny it, I'm pretty sure people will know. And I think that Joe Burrow is going to be the pick, barring any other craziness or leaked tweets from 2012. Should be a done deal. Now, most projections going on also have Chase Young at number 2, seems to be the consensus for the Redskins. Now, this one I'm less certain about, because you're at 2 and there's Tua on the board. And Dwayne Haskins is but the rawest prospect or the rawest player you have on your roster still, and didn't necessarily turn up great. Now, you had a terrible roster, obviously, but can you pass on a guaranteed almost franchise quarterback, best player in the draft at 2?
That's tough. I mean, they just invested in Dwayne Haskins, but being the rookie contracts what they are, it's still possible. I could see that. My problem with Chase Young at number 2 is, he is the best player probably in the draft, the best overall athlete in this draft, but they're not hurting on defensive line. Definitely not as much as they are on offensive line. So what I could see happening is them foregoing Chase Young for a Tristan Wirfs or an Andrew Thomas. Get a good tackle in there.
Right.
Because you need someone to guard Dwayne Haskins, because if he's behind a crappy old line like he was last year, he's going to be the next Josh Rosen. But, you beef up that line, maybe Dwayne Haskins is the guy to go with, But
he might be. But then again, if you make your pick at 2, you got to make it count. So is picking a tackle at 2 with Tua with Chase Young on the board, is that still a value pick? It's certainly not best available. I would like I much prefer a scenario that if you're Washington, Tua's there, and you're not going to pick him, you shouldn't trade down. You have to trade down because you're still in need of a quarterback. Last year you had a very similar scenario. It was different. The 49ers didn't need quarterback anymore, so they could gladly pick Nick Bosa. That just pick best player in the draft at the number 2 spot. That's different for Washington. This roster is completely different. Because if you remember last year, the Niners roster was a lot better than the number 2 overall pick. And because they kind of locked into it, we saw the results. Washington is still one of the worst teams in the league going into this draft. What I like to see is have an idea of trading down. Trade down to number 4. Let the Giants come up, let them get Chase Young, whoever they want. Because Detroit doesn't pick a quarterback. New York doesn't pick a quarterback. Grab Tua at 4. And trade down to the 4th pick, get the 36 from the Giants with it, and then pick up your edge rusher, because you have a lot of edge depth in the 2nd and 3rd round of this draft. You got Terrell Lewis and Curtis Weaver. There's a lot of people in that sort of round that are projected who are still going to be very good. So if you can make that happen, I think you win the draft as Washington.
I could actually see him going farther down than that. I'm looking through the first round right here and looking at who would need an edge rusher. Jaguars.
Yeah.
Like they could go down here and get a slew of second and third round, or second and third round, fourth round.
I'm not
whatever.
sure if you can afford to trade up that much for an edge rusher though. Like trading up from 9
if
to
you're
2.
If you're
There's going to be someone there
Seahawks.
who's going to want to trade up. Yeah, who's going to want to trade up for a quarterback, and that team will give a lot more than you can ever give for an edge rusher.
So then you're looking at, I guess the Dolphins are sitting pretty anyway. If the Chargers would like to jump the Dolphins to get Tua, or man, even the Tampa Bay, Brady's only gonna be there a couple years. What if they wanted to jump up there and grab him?
Maybe. I think what you do as Washington, this is in my opinion, the most interesting and in my opinion the best position to be in this first round. You make use of the situation that you got with Detroit and the Giants because both those teams don't need quarterback. They're both going to be targeting best available. So you make use of one of those teams, fearing that the other will take their player, and one of those two teams is going to jump and they're going to trade up. Probably New York. New York's going to trade up, most likely. And you make use of that, you sit back, and you can still get your quarterback at 4 when Tua's on the board. And if you're not going to take Chase Young, you have to trade down, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because someone else will.
I can definitely see that. I'm just not so sure that they want another quarterback right after, putting their faith in Dwayne Haskins there.
If someone could pick Kyler Murray a year after Josh Rosen, you could pick Tua a year after Dwayne Haskins.
That's very true. Yeah, that is the example we have to go off of if that's going to happen, for sure.
If that's the standard, yeah. And that was the first overall pick.
Well, what if the Jaguars would like to get him, though? What if they don't have faith in Gardner?
Give up a lot. They lost their entire defense from 3 years ago. Everything's not gone.
They need a cornerback, that's for sure.
They need a lot of things. I don't think they can trade for a quarterback. I think quarterback is one of their best, or at least most solid positions on the roster at the moment, and you can't do that. I don't think so. You gotta take your 9th overall pick. You probably can't trade up, and you gotta focus more on quantity than quality. They need to pick players. They need to fill their roster with defensive talent and some wide receivers, because right now they're going backwards, and that's not something you want with a young quarterback on the team.
Wow. Get this, man. I'm looking at the NFL media's mock drafts that they put out, and Bucky Brooks actually has Tua falling to the Jaguars. Not trading up to get him, but falling all the way to the 9th spot. And I cannot see him getting past the Dolphins and the Chargers.
He's not getting past 6. There is no way, unless he somehow gets hurt again in the next week, that he's going past 6. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah,
he should go in the top 5. Absolutely should go in the top 5. If Miami is ignorant enough to pass on him at 5, bless him. Yeah, but he's not getting past 6. He's not. I don't believe it one bit, because who's the Chargers going to pick? Say I'm assuming a mock draft like that would say Burrow 1 and Justin Herbert 5, presuming no trades to the Dolphins. Who does he have the Chargers picking?
He has the Chargers picking linebacker Isaiah Simmons from Clemson, and I don't see that. Why?
Why does he fall that far too if Tua doesn't get picked? Can you just read out the first 6 picks from that mock draft?
From Bucky Brooks. Burrow, Chase Young, Derek Brown to the Lions, Tristan Wirfs, the tackle, to New York, which they need that. That's pretty good. Justin Herbert to the Dolphins, Isaiah Simmons to the Chargers. And all the way down at 9, Tua will be going to the Jaguars.
You can't tell me that Tua and Jeff Okudah are not going to go in the top 5, or neither of them is going to go in the top 5.
He's got Okudah falling all the way to 7 for the Panthers to pick up. Yeah,
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying any of this, Bucky. Nope.
And Ceedee Lamb goes to the Jets at 11. That's kind of high for. I mean, I guess it's possible. I
guess the top 3 receivers are going to go between like 8 and 15, I would assume, because you have a lot of teams that will draft receiver. You have the Raiders, excuse me, and you have the Niners, who are most probably going to draft receiver if they don't trade down.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see Lamb, we'll see Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, all going in that sort of area. I would imagine.
Do you have your draft board, your mock draft filled out, or?
I don't have the full mock draft. Well, I don't have it finally submitted. I have one right now, but I don't have a final submission because I still. So basically, what I do is I have a friend that we always do a mock draft competition, and we always do it basically the weekend before the draft. And we bet for like some kebab, right, or something, right? And I've won 3 years in a row, and I'm planning to continue to do so. So I'm trying to get the best information and take the most time I can to be able to do this. And it's not JJ, by the way; it's someone else.
I'm curious to see who you have your 49ers taking.
Currently?
You know they have the 13th and the 32nd pick, or 31st.
They do. With the Niners, so simplistically, we give the rule no trade, and I have them pick Jerry Jeudy at 13.
Okay.
If he's not available, they pick Ceedee Lamb. If he's not available, they trade down. And I'm not very confident in which receiver they prefer, whether they prefer Jeudy, Lamb, or even Ruggs, right? They're all three. Like, you can make an argument for all of them. I don't know which one they prefer. I like Jerry Jeudy because I know that Kyle Shanahan likes the crisp route running. CeeDee Lamb is maybe the best deep threat. You can, the best Emmanuel Sanders replacement.
Ruggs you can look at it
from Owen. You know? Yes. Yeah, he is. So you can look at it from whichever way you want. I'm not very confident in that. It's going to be just a matter of who goes first, who's available, right? Who's the Raiders picking, who will the Niners pick is just the guy that's left, basically, because they're all very interchangeable almost in that sense. So right now I haven't picked Jerry Jeudy. If we're allowed to make trades, I might have him trade down. Because why not? You only pick twice. You pick twice in the first round, and you don't pick for 3 rounds. And you have gathered all this value, this 13 overall pick. Imagine a quarterback's there. You can get 4 picks for that. You can get a full draft board. You get a second, a third, a fourth for this pick.
Oh yeah.
And you don't need to pick there. You want a receiver. And if one of the top 3 is there, you'll take it because that's your one weakness on the roster right now.
Well, down at 31st, they can still grab like a Jalen Reagor, a Justin Jefferson from LSU if he's still there. Maybe. Which this is very possible,
But that might be very possible at 30, at the 31.
Yeah, also. Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mean, right?
Yeah,
you can trade off of that 13 and still get. I mean, everybody's in a consensus that the top 3 this year, Lamb, Ruggs, and Jeudy. But I think that second tier there is not that far behind.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is either. And they also have a couple guys actually coming off of injuries and practice squads. So this receiver room is it's down. Emmanuel Sanders, still the best tight end in the league, is there, and they have some young guys coming back. Deebo Samuel's getting better, and Jalen Hurts, who no one has ever heard of except for me, was drafted by them last year. He was hurt all season. He's a 6'5" deep threat, and a great catcher. He can be fantastic if he finally stays healthy. So a lot of talent there, and they're in a situation where they mostly pick supplemental players now. They pick for the future. They're not going to pick a lot of starters this year. They did last year, the years before. The roster is still, for the most part, set. You want replacements for the impact players who lost. You want to look to get a receiver or look to get a defensive lineman, interior, preferably a run stopper, because you have all the pass rushers. You want a big D tackle. And you probably want to look at your offensive line because it's your oldest group. Then you got some players who are probably going to retire within the next few years. But you're not forced to make any pick at any position where you're at, so you definitely are flexible to trading.
Another question I'm curious about. Do you know who you would have the Patriots taking this season, or first round this season?
So you want me to spit out a quarterback, obviously, right?
Well, I would think. But, personally, I had them taking a quarterback in the first round, and then I switched it. I have them taking a tight end in the first round.
A tight end in the first round? Really?
Yeah,
this year?
And I think my favorite tight end in this draft is Cole Kmet from Notre Dame. I know some people are putting their stock in Harrison Bryant, but I do think Cole Kmet's probably the better tight end this season. But who would you have them take?
So at the moment, presuming they pick at 23, I don't think you can afford to pick tight end at that point in the first round. I think they're going back. They have, but it was Rob Gronkowski. That was different.
Mm-hmm. Well, Aaron Hernandez.
Okay, yeah, but that was also different.
Look, the Ravens have done it. They actually took 2 seasons ago, you know. But as a matter of fact, they don't have that tight end anymore. So maybe that's a bad look. But he's actually a Falcon now.
I don't think there's a tight end in this draft that's first round value. Unfortunately, in the last couple of years we had one, but this year I don't think you can afford to. Right now, on my current draft, I have go back to the old Belichick roots. I'll take Patrick Queen out of LSU, just a linebacker to replace Kyle Van Noy, beef up the defense, and kind of get back to the old playing style, because that's sort of what they're going to have to do. We're not sure who's going to start at quarterback for them, and I mean, they could make a splash pick at any time, of course, but they seem to like Jarrett Stidham, and there's still a couple of free agents available, and Bill Belichick tends to be creative with that sort of thing. I think it's going to be old Belichick fashion and just pick defense.
Yeah, that's very possible. I think there's also the possibility that Jake Fromm still ends up there in the second or third round when the Patriots pick comes up.
Maybe. You still really want this to happen.
No, it's not that... Well, hold on. It's not that I really need to see Jake Fromm succeed, but I think if he's going to succeed, that's probably one of the very few teams that he could succeed on. Because,
of course, right? Because he's a lot like Tom Brady as a quarterback.
Yes, exactly.
And you would like nothing more than for the next 20 years to be able to come on the show every week and be, did you see JF12 tearing it up when he threw 120 yards and a touchdown and a pick, but they allowed 3 points.
I wouldn't be mad
did you
about
see
that
how great he
all.
is? See, that's what you're gonna do. I don't know. Maybe they might pick a quarterback, might not, but that's left to be seen. I don't think at 23 the quarterback you want is available, that the one that you really want. I don't think the tight end that you want, you need to pick. I think you could get your number one tight end in the second round, honestly. Where's the Patriots pick, and what's the Patriots second pick? Actually, let me check. They don't have a second rounder, right?
Oh, maybe not. I thought they did.
I got him at 87 for the second time. It looks like they don't have a second round pick. So okay, that's pretty deep. I think a couple of tight ends will be gone with that, but you can trade up for that too, right? I mean, you could trade down if you want to in the first round.
They could definitely trade into the second round. I mean, Cole Kmet may very well be there in the second round. You know, I wouldn't put all my stock in him being gone, but I do think he is the tight end. If you need a tight end, that's the one to go with out of this draft, in my opinion. Because I've watched him play. But it's not exactly a tight end class this time.
No,
not at all. I mean, there's no T.J. Hawkinson in this class for sure. Yeah.
If Iowa doesn't carry the tight end class, then there is no tight end class.
Yeah.
That's always how it's been. It's the one factory of tight ends.
Yeah. No Mark Andrews.
Okay, one final question. No,
go ahead.
I got one final question for you though, because you asked me the same thing basically. Who do you got for the Falcons at 16?
Ooh, let me pull up my board. What was it? Cleveland. Oh no, I had Andrew Thomas fall into them. Right. They need offensive
that's convenient.
line. I mean, yeah, it is. He doesn't have far to go. It may be wishful thinking because Andrew Thomas is projected to go as high as 10th in a lot of mock drafts, but I think he could very well fall to 16. You know, depending on how the cards are played here, and I would love it. Andrew Thomas is a great offensive tackle, and think we still need offensive line help in Atlanta. So.
Now, how would you like an Andrew Thomas clone in Josh Jones, who's conveniently who I have them picking?
Really?
Also as an offensive lineman, yeah. They are, I mean, they're statue-wise, they're very much the same person.
They are. I agree.
It's just, it's a matter of really, is Josh Jones kind of on the same level with the pass blocking and the footwork? But I doubt that Thomas is going to fall to 16 somehow.
Yeah.
Because people really seem to like tackles this year.
Yeah, they
still think
do.
Atlanta will pick O-line.
Oh, you got Jedrick Wills.
Mekhi Becton.
Yeah, Mekhi Becton.
He's been projected in the top 5 a bunch. There might be 5 offensive linemen in the top 20.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible.
Wow, yeah. It's a valuable spot, though. You got to protect the quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's because the quarterback comes first, then the edge rusher, then the offensive tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the value of the position, absolutely. All right. So, some interesting picks there. We might come back if we get the time to next week before the draft and we do another show. We'll get back to it with some more information closer to the thing and see where we're at, see what new information comes out. But that's not it for today. I have another thing that I wanted to do, and this is sort of a game that I wanted to play, all right? And it's basically called Hall of Fame or Not. It's not very poetic, but it explains it very well. The point is, I'll name a player. I have a list of players here. I'll name you one. They're a current active NFL player. And you tell me. Say this player retired today. Right? Today this player retired. Do they go to the Hall of Fame ever in their life? Like a couple of months ago, I could have said Luke Kuechly, right? Yeah. And it would have been like, well, he's not going to retire, but if he did, would he go to the Hall of Fame? Well, he retired. Yes. So, for example, for a practice run, Luke Kuechly, does he go to the Hall of Fame?
At this, I would say yes.
Yeah, I agree with that. Of course, I think he definitely has been the best player, best linebacker of the decade.
Yeah, the only thing against him
ever since Patrick Willis retired, I think he's been the best inside linebacker.
Yeah, or Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean Joe Thomas? Who do you mean, Joe Thomas?
No, I probably got the name wrong.
Thomas Davis.
Yeah, okay. Maybe. The guy at the Browns, man. I suck with names. You know that, man.
Wait, no, the offensive... Do you mean the lineman? The offensive lineman?
Yeah.
That's Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
No.
Why did I bring up that? We're talking
about... I said linebacker.
Never mind. I had a brain fart.
I said Kuechly is the best inside linebacker since Patrick Willis retired.
My bad. I don't know what I'm thinking of. I had a brain
Joe Thomas is going to go to the Hall of Fame for sure.
Okay,
He's and he is retired.
Yeah.
But all right, I got a list of players. It's like 50 names or something. I'm not exactly sure. Of very different stages in their career. And I want to know from you, do they go to the Hall of Fame if they retire today? Number 1, Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. I'm going to say, if he retired today, no.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, he had elite production. He was the number 1 RB for, 4 years? But I don't think that puts him in that, that Hall of Fame category.
It's a tough choice.
It is. I mean, running backs have short careers.
Yes, and they're getting shorter, and that's the thing. You can't really expect every following running back Hall of Fame level to be an Emmitt Smith or a Frank Gore. That's not how running backs tend to work anymore today. So you look at these guys like Bell, like Todd Gurley, like Zeke in 2 years, who've had top of the league productivity for 5-6 years. Yeah, and that's going to become the norm for these great guys.
Maybe so. Well, there's also Terrell Davis. I mean. Yeah. Hey, guys make it in there without having super long careers at running back. But, you always think of like the Emmitt Smith, the guy that just kept going, or the Frank Gore, Yeah, but
he'll play longer than everyone on the Bills right now. Probably.
Oh, for sure. He'll be playing running back at 45. Just to beat Tom Brady,
Yeah. I'd love to see that too.
Oh,
yeah. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. But
Frank Gore
depends on him when he wants to go.
Yes.
Frank Gore, he's a Hall of Famer for sure. Yeah. Le'Veon Bell, I don't know. Yeah. It's a tough choice. Very different type of running back. Malcolm Jenkins.
I'm gonna say right now.
All right, he retires today. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, what class was he? Was 2011, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Man,
11 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah, that is kind of a short career, but I don't know. He's been so productive. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes.
It's because his resume looks really good, right? You could say he's been a top 5 safety for over half a decade. Yeah. He's won a Super Bowl. He's mainly contributed to winning that Super Bowl. Remember, he had that huge hit on Brandon Cooks against the Patriots, which sort of turned that first half.
Look at him.
Yeah, you can argue that he should make it, and I think if he plays another 2-3 years, he'll have a legitimate shot. If he retired right now, listen, I'm not the one to pass these judgments because I wrote down only players that I am not decided on. Mm-hmm. If they retire today, if they make the Hall of Fame, that's why I wanted to get your opinion. So I'm not going to make calls because I don't have to. But let's move to the number 3, Geno Atkins.
Geno Atkins. That's tough, man. I'm trying to do like a little bit of research so I know exactly how many years they've.
He might be the least known player on this list. Probably also the most underrated player in the NFL because he makes the Pro Bowl every year. He's the best defender on the Bengals every year, and he's been for a while.
He was drafted in 2010. So that's. See, the longevity always gets me. But, I mean, he's got 10 seasons under his belt. And like you said, he makes the Pro Bowl every year.
Every year.
And I'm going to say yeah. And maybe my Georgia bias is playing into it a little bit. But I'm going to say yes.
You're saying yes to a lot of them so far. How about this one? This is not the longevity factor, but more of a short-term excellence. Zach Martin.
If Zach, I don't think so. If he retired right today,
I don't think so either. You could kind of ask the same thing about Travis Frederick, right? Because he did actually retire. So very similar career path. They were great, best offensive line in the league for a while, and then they had Zeke with it. And Zach Martin was considered the best interior lineman for 2 years in a row.
He couldn't have been there for more than 5 years, right? Like 4 or 5 years.
I feel like it's really hard for an offensive lineman, also defensive lineman like Geno Atkins, like the interior guys, to really make their Hall of Fame case through a short splash career like running backs can. It's mostly like, have you played 15 years and allowed like 20 sacks over your entire career? Okay, you're in. It's more of a consistency thing with these guys, I think. That's what's being looked at usually.
Yeah.
How about this one? How about Jason Pierre-Paul?
Ooh,
He's been around for about 10 years now.
He has, yeah. What do you say while I think about it, man? That's tougher than Geno Atkins to me.
I'll probably say no. He could make the Giants Hall of Fame, but probably not the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Is kind of where I'm at. I'm gonna have to say no, man. I mean, he's got the longevity, I would think. Being in the league 10 years. I think he's exactly. Oh, that was 2010. Yeah, it was 2010. I think it was 2010. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the longevity, but
it reminds me a lot of Cameron Wake in terms of the career path, right?
I mean, well, yeah. And overall, this really is a popularity contest. I mean,
kind of is,
when people are voting, no matter what it is, basically, it's going to turn into a popularity contest. It's not stats driven, So
no, as much as it should be.
If he was a Patriot, I would say yes, but.
If he was at the if he's had been in the Patriots for 10 years, he also would have had better stats and more rings.
Yeah, I agree with that. But being a Buccaneer and a Giant, probably not.
Tough. This one is also pretty interesting. Patrick Peterson.
Yes, I will go ahead and say that right away. I think Patrick Peterson's one of the best shutdown cornerbacks we've seen in a long time. I mean, how many
cornerbacks do you think are in the league right now that are future Hall of Famers if they retire today? So we're not talking about the potential future ones, but if they retire today with their current resume.
If they retire today, well, you got to put Sherman in there.
For sure.
You got to put Keith Talib in there.
Yes.
And Patrick Peterson for sure. And I would say Xavier, but I don't think he's quite earned it yet.
Might be a bit early, right?
Yeah.
Because the last grade was to retire with Darrelle Revis, who we know is going to make it. Sherman's going to make it, and I think Patrick Peterson is probably the second guy up. to make it.
Yeah. I would give him. Yeah, I would bet money on Patrick Peterson making it.
I think they'll make it too. Okay, this one is gonna be very controversial. Matthew Stafford.
Ooh. And he has stats. Stafford has stats.
He has stats.
Doesn't have wins. You know, he doesn't have maybe 2 playoff appearances, if I remember this correctly. Oh Jesus, Stafford.
You know whose career you have just described?
Who?
Barry Sanders. That's who you just described.
Same team. Yeah.
Calvin Johnson.
Maybe that's just the Lions' curse. Well, in that case,
it is the Lions' curse.
I mean, there's no way Calvin Johnson's not making it. So, no. In that case, but then again, when you think of wide receivers, top 10 of all time, you probably put Megatron in there.
Oh yeah.
You don't put Matt Stafford in the top 10 quarterbacks of all time?
No, you don't.
So.
But that quarterbacks tend to get into the Hall of Fame, and I think we can all agree that if he went to one Super Bowl, he's probably in. Because that's sort of the thing he's missing, like the actual playoff success, right? Because he's got the stats, he's got the individual capability. He's been the best player on his team for like 10 years now, basically.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, at least since Calvin left.
Yeah. It's the one thing that the Lions never had to worry about is quarterback throughout all this time.
And I do think that he's a great quarterback. And you are picking a lot of Georgia players here, but and that may be a bias.
May or may not be coincidence in part.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would vote. Very tough. I'll say this: I would vote for him, but I don't think that he would make it in just the general vote. No.
All right, fair enough. All right, we're about halfway through the list. How about Joe Staley?
Joe Staley, I think yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
I would tend to agree, unsurprisingly. But even if I were neutral on this, I would probably agree because I think he's for a number of years been the best offensive tackle in the league, and he's definitely been the most consistent. Played longer than Joe Thomas. He's been more consistent than Tyrone Smith and Trent Williams and all these guys. He's outlived them all at this point, and he's still playing still playing at left tackle. The spot still hasn't changed. And they've drafted a lot of tackles over the years, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's always been you go to the right, you play right tackle, and if you're good enough, we don't trade you in 4 years.
I just looked it up too. 181 games played, so. That right there alone, I'd give him the nod.
He's the only player remaining from the 2013 Super Bowl roster.
Wow, really?
Yes, for a long time too. Like I think like 3 years after that Super Bowl, he was like there was only 3 players remaining. It was him. It was Ahmad Brooks and it was Daniel Kilgore. And then they traded Kilgore, and Ahmad Brooks retired. Was actually traded to the Packers, and NaVorro Bowman retired, and he was the only one. So he's been the only one for a few years now. So complete overhaul. He's witnessed a complete generational change from good to bad to good again on the same team.
Wow. Yeah, I mean,
I think he should make it.
I think so. I don't see why not at all. Actually,
it's what I described with offensive. This is how offensive linemen are graded.
He's got the Pro Bowls. He's got the All Pros.
Yeah. Very, very consistent. He was a state champion. He was a state champion track and field in college as an offensive lineman.
Oh, really?
He caught touchdown passes. He played tight end. Yeah.
That's amazing for an O lineman.
He might be the most athletic O lineman of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have to put him in. Okay. How about a kicker? Let's go with Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker.
If you'd have said Vinatieri, I would have said yes.
I mean, of course.
Justin Tucker.
Gostkowski, Vinatieri are obvious.
Yeah,
Justin Tucker,
of course. Jesus, he's been around quite some time. I'm looking up his draft. Right. My bad. This is bad radio.
Yeah, question with kickers is they have to be around for a long time because they just can't make the short splash career. It's almost impossible, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Kickers are more than anyone, even offensive linemen, rewarded for the consistency.
Mm-hmm. And it looks okay. Why does it not give it? My bad. My whole Google just took a crap here.
Oh. I think it was drafted around 10 years ago. Also, he might have been like 2009, 10 or something.
Because I was thinking he was in the 08, 09. So
yeah, might have been. It's around that.
Oh
that
Jesus, I'm way off, man. He was 2012. He was taken as an undrafted free agent in 2012, which that's nothing new
not as long ago.
For kickers to be taken as an undrafted free agent. I mean, how many kickers get drafted in the first place? But I'm gonna say no. I mean, how many kickers do we have in the Hall of Fame? 2, 3?
Not a lot.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
Maybe some more you could argue that should make.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just takes more time. I think he will be. Because he's not going to retire today. I think he will end up in the Hall of Fame, but he have to play at least 5 more years. Because with the kicker, it's sort of, you just got to do your thing. You know, just be as bad as it sounds, just be the kicker. If you spend 20 years in the NFL, 15 to 20 years, just being in the NFL as a kicker, you'll probably make the Hall of Fame. Because that automatically means that you were really that good.
You know, and that's a good point. Because I think for a kicker, it's almost like, if no one notices you, basically, the better, you know, because...
Same with offensive linemen.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing your job, and, you know,
they're the exact same thing.
Yeah, they only notice you
kickers
when you screw up.
Kickers get paid like 10% of that of a left tackle, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
It's all the extra hours that they need you to be in the gym. They pay well. How about Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen, I don't think so at this point. I mean, he has had his years of eliteness, but no, I think at this point, I mean, had a great quarterback also that helped him out in that situation, but. No, I don't think
so. Kind of like the Le'Veon Bell situation, similar-ish.
Yeah,
not enough yet. He's at his peak. I think he's definitely a Hall of Fame player. Both of them are.
If he continues his 2017 season, or let's see, 2018 might have actually been better than 2017. Yeah. But if he continues if he continued that season for another 5 years, I think he's a shoe-in. But,
I would definitely.
I mean, he's definitely not, Julio Jones or, even DeAndre. I don't think. I say no at this point.
All right, Jimmy Graham.
Wow, that's a tough one there because he had.
That's only a tough one because he spent most of his career in New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and. If I think if he would have stayed in New Orleans, he would have been a shoe-in for the Hall of Fame. But all those great years that were spent in New Orleans were almost negated out in Seattle and in Green Bay, because he really, I mean, I guess there's something to be said for his blocking maybe, but as far as actual offensive production, I don't think he gets in with the career that he's had.
I think he does. I really think he does.
Think?
Mostly based on the New Orleans career. I agree that he should have stayed to make a strong case because New Orleans he wasn't really a tight end in New Orleans, right? And then he was just allowed to play receiver in basically a spread offense with Drew Brees the entire time in a dome, warm weather, on turf. And you go to Seattle and Green Bay, which are some of the toughest places to be in weather, and they run the ball. You got Marshawn Lynch and Eddie Lacy behind you. They get 25 carries, and they need you to block and to down block at the line. That's not his game. So those were definitely bad destinations for him, and he never lived up to the same production. But I think he's got to go in because he's been the best tight end of the arguably the 21st century after Gronk at the moment.
Well,
I think when it's over that
Tony Gonzalez,
Kelsey and Kittle are definitely okay. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about Gonzalez. Obviously, sometimes I just ignore Falcons.
Thank you.
No, I think yeah, Gonzalez obviously was maybe the best of all time. I think Kittle and Kelsey definitely will be better at one point, but with the career, if he retired today, I think he makes it, but I'm not sure. How about another neglected position? Kyle Juszczyk.
The fullback. That is definitely a fullback. You know what? If there's going to be a fullback, he has the best shot.
Yeah. There's a really good chance he's going to be the last fullback to ever go to the Hall of Fame. Because he's the only fullback who's active right now who should go.
That's a legitimate statement. Yes.
The position is dying. Very unfortunately. I like fullbacks. I really like fullbacks.
Yeah.
Yes, I do like fullbacks.
Yeah, I've never, I guess, kind of indifferent, but I do like if you get a good fullback that you can transition over to in and out of tight end, you know.
Right, and that's I think what makes him so strong and makes his case is he can play receiver, he can run, he can block, and like he's one of the best catching running backs in the league, and has been for a while. He has been for Baltimore and San Francisco in great systems, and will continue to do that for a couple more years.
Now, I'd have to look this up, but he may be the only fullback that scored a touchdown last season.
It's possible, yeah. And
I may have missed one somewhere, but yeah, exactly.
Sad. And he's got the receiving touchdowns too. That's a special thing.
Oh, yeah.
They could list him as a receiver or tight. They can list him at whatever roster spot they have. They have an open spot.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of what makes him special. Like kind of like Taysom Hill sort of thing. Except that he's not a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
So I think he should make it. And he might be the last designated fullback to ever make it to the Hall of Fame. We have three more players. And I'm especially curious about your opinion on the last one. But the first of the reigning ones is Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack. Whew. It's not that long of a career. I mean, he finished out his rookie contract, and he's got 2 seasons with the Bears. Man, I think for D-line, I mean, he's great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think the longevity's there. I think he's probably the best at his position in the NFL when he's on top of his game. Probably the best in the NFL at this time. But I don't think the longevity's there.
It's tough to say. I think for him it's just a matter of a couple more years. So I agree with most of what you said. See, if I asked you names of similar class that have just been there for a couple years longer, I asked you J.J. Watt or Von Miller, you would probably say yes. You would say yes, no doubt.
Of course, yeah.
And if Khalil Mack is Khalil Mack for 3-4 more years, then we'll also say yes to that unanimously.
Yeah.
So he's sort of on the verge at the moment.
Yeah, I put him in the category with Jadeveon Clowney. You know, you still have something to prove.
I think he's better. He's better than Clowney. I think he's when it comes to he's better than Clowney.
Yeah,
he's been better than Clowney at his best.
I do agree.
He'll be better
because I think right now he is the best in the league right now. Or
that's so hard to say, right? Because it changes so much. Like it seems to be a different person every year.
Yeah, almost. It does. But you know. Like, you can definitely say J.J. Watt, and like you said, he's been better overall, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You know, and Von Miller. Yes, exactly. Von Miller. But
those are a lot of Hall of Famers. But I think the only thing Khalil Mack that he needs to do to go to the Hall of Fame is not retire right now. Just play a couple more years. Play 5 more years, same level, he's got it.
Yeah.
Next one, we brought him up before, and so I kind of think I know your answer, but I'm going to name him anyway. Jalen Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey? Man. Probably. probably the best cornerback in the league, or at least he was, with the exception of this year. If you go back the 2 seasons before the 2019 season, but then you had him, distraught at some point and wanting to leave the Jaguars, and which made for a rocky season. But he wasn't bad by any means. But there's still that longevity factor. So I think if he retired right now, I would say no. But if you gave me 5 more years of elite Jalen Ramsey, I'm saying yes.
Yeah, I tend to agree. What would help his case considerably is some playoff appearances in that 5 years too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's only had 1, I believe.
Yeah, the Rams missed out on last year in a hilarious fashion, to me at least personally. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that continues. But for him, that's a very important part, because individually he has the class to do so. He's got to do it for longer. To me, right now, he doesn't go in either because he's not been in the league long enough. You can't let players with careers that short into the Hall of Fame en masse, because it feels like it devalues the body of work a little bit of these other guys. But he has the talent to do so. He's got to do it for longer and preferably have some playoff success.
Yes.
We have the last person on this list.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I want to give you a shot to just guess the name, even though you probably won't be able to. But this one might be the most controversial one, but also the best one for conversation or debate.
Do I get a position?
No. No, you don't.
So I'm guessing probably quarterback then. Who could it be? If I'm going quarterback, I'm gonna guess Eli Manning.
So he is technically, of course, retired. It's not that.
Yeah, I guess he technically is. So yeah, that wouldn't count.
I'm gonna make it very, very clear. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes.
If he retired right now.
If Patrick Mahomes retired today on
3
this spot,
seasons, 2 seasons as a starter.
The best 2 seasons as a starter in history. Not just quarterbacks, players.
The best 2 seasons back to back, yes. But he didn't have 2 seasons of the best season in history. I mean, he had 1. But we did see Lamar put up a better season this season.
Where's Lamar's trophy? Where's the AFC Championship?
MVP.
MVP.
Yeah.
That MVP. That's what it's worth. All right, Patrick got one of those.
Exactly.
He has one of those.
And you would gladly tout that for his.
He also got those other 2 championship trophies. Where's Lamar's?
Well, they're coming.
And it should have been 3, by the way. It should have been at least 3, because Patrick Mahomes would have, if it had not been for the most freakish defensive error in recent playoff history, gone to the Super Bowl the previous year, because he was beating the Patriots.
Yeah,
so that would have been at least 1, probably 2 more trophies.
He got Tom Brady. Yeah.
He got Brady. Oh, did he get Brady? he got Belichick. No, he didn't even that. He got de-Forded.
Exactly. Well, let's look at it this way. Has anybody ever had a 3-year career in the Hall of Fame?
Has anyone ever played a 3-year career the way Patrick Mahomes has?
No, they haven't.
No.
Well,
they haven't.
Yeah, and...
No. Well, they have.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything that I can think of that would compare.
No one has ever played at this level. No one has ever played football at this level.
Yeah. I mean, I can give you that. I mean, there's that Deshaun Watson guy that's just a little better than him.
Oh, that other guy, right? That needs to do the same thing for 15 more years to be considered for the Clemson Hall of Fame. Nah.
No. He's already in the Clemson Hall of Fame. He won a national championship.
How much? So how much do we have on the Texans making the playoffs next year? Not yet, but how much are we gonna have?
$10. Oh no, we gotta do monsters.
We can't gamble like that. We have to put consumables.
Yeah.
4 cans.
4 cans on Texans making the playoffs.
I'm gonna invoke an option though. All right. Bill O'Brien needs to be the head coach until at least week 8.
I really wish he wasn't, because that's what's holding that team back.
Exactly. I'll give you 4 cans. I'll give you 4 cans with that stipulation.
All right, I'll take that, because
we got a deal.
You know, they do make the playoffs more often than not. I mean,
they're not gonna make them
with Hopkins.
Tennessee's too strong. Indianapolis will be better.
I
got
agree.
Phillip Rivers and DeForest Buckner.
I agree with
Indianapolis will
both
be better.
Of those.
And
but
Texas got worse.
They a little bit, yes. I mean, you lost probably the second or third best receiver in the entire NFL, which was idiotic, stupid.
Yes.
Brandon Cooks is not a bad replacement. I mean, of course, he's not DeAndre Hopkins, but it's not bad. You have 3 really good receivers there now.
Well, I will give you one thing. This should be a situation that you should like, because this is now the chance for Deshaun Watson to actually show that he can do it himself. That you've always talked about so far.
Exactly.
He never had. So far, he's always kind of had better support than Patrick Mahomes so far. Now he doesn't.
Yeah, you can say that. I don't know, but
I don't think he does. I think
I think Tyreek Hill, if he plays like he's playing for another 5 years, he's a Hall of Famer.
I think Tyreek is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be. Hall of Famers tend to make other Hall of Famers.
Well, yeah.
But it's hard with the receiver, right? To think of. I'm not sure about Tyreek Hill. Like, for example, you know that Calvin Johnson is a Hall of Famer without Matthew Stafford. You know that Jerry Rice is a Hall of Famer without Joe Montana. Would Tyreek Hill be a Hall of Famer with 10 years of Alex Smith?
Well, he had a great season with Alex Smith. Alex Smith had a final season there was elite. I mean, he was a... Okay. I'd have to look back at the stats, but that last season that Alex Smith was there, I believe he was a top 5 quarterback that season.
Yeah, they were the number 1 team after week 4, which is the best thing they've ever done before they drafted someone out of Texas Tech.
And they made it deep into the playoffs that season.
All right. And wasn't that the year where they got where they got 28 put on them unanswered by Andrew Luck in this insane comeback? Was it that?
No. That was the season before, right?
Was the season before? That might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to look back.
Didn't they draft Patrick Mahomes after that happened? And they set him for a year, and then that's what it was.
That would have been the season that Andrew Luck went out with the shoulder injury. So
I'm not seeing trophy. Somehow there's a correlation between Patrick Mahomes starting for the Chiefs
and Tyreek Hill being great.
And also trophies start showing up, and MVP starts showing up, and all of a sudden Andy Reid's a Hall of Famer. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Weird. I think Andy Reid was great before then, but
he was all right.
I mean,
correlation doesn't always imply causation, but sometimes you might have to think it does.
I mean,
it seems weird to me.
He turned a forgotten quarterback into a top 5 quarterback.
And who would that be?
Alex.
Top 5.
Yeah, for that last season, yes, he was.
There was not a year where Alex Smith was a top 5 quarterback.
The last season, once they drafted Mahomes, it lit a fire under his ass. Alex Smith was a great quarterback for one season. They still...
For 4 weeks.
I don't know. I think it was more than 4 weeks. But, all right, what were we talking about?
Is Patrick Mahomes a Hall of Famer if he retires today?
I gotta say no, man. I don't think people are gonna vote for him. Regardless of whether I think he should be or you think he should be, will the voters actually vote for him after
it would be by far the shortest
seasons.
Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, for sure.
By far the shortest Hall of Fame career. You could argue extraordinary circumstance because it's been also the best seasons ever. I don't think if he retires today, I don't think he quite gets in. I will say though, 2 more years on the same level, he's got to be in. 2 more years, at least 1 more Super Bowl appearance, another MVP, he's got to be in.
I would say give me 5 playoff runs and three Super Bowl wins. Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So you need
6
everyone
seasons.
to be at least Joe Montana now to make the Hall of Fame as a quarterback.
No, it's not
I
that.
see.
It's just if you want to get in with that short of a career, if you want to get in with a 6-season career, give me 3 Super Bowl wins, and I'll say, yeah, that's it.
But isn't it better to get in after 4 years, having gone to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 MVPs, rather than get in after 10 years with the same stat line? Because that means you don't have losing seasons in between there.
Yeah. I mean, you can look at it that way, and maybe that's enough, But I don't know, man. The voters seem to value longevity.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
2 more years. 2 more years of this, he's in.
I say 2 more years, I would vote for him. Yeah, if he went to 2 more Super Bowls again, back to back, he's.
He's got to be in.
Yeah, I would vote for him.
One MVP, at least just one MVP, 1 more Super Bowl appearance, and 5 years. He's in.
Yeah, this would be something.
I think he has to.
To ask one of my friends in New York who is a journalist, and he specifically specializes in the Hall of Fame.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You should ask him that, and also ask him about Matthew Stafford, because quarterbacks are very interesting. They're sort of like polar opposites, right? Stafford and Mahomes, because Stafford's been really good for a long time, and Mahomes has been like even better than really good for a very short time.
Oh yeah.
It's very interesting.
But the question is, if you were a voter and he retired today, would you vote for him when his time
There's two ways to look at it. There's the argument for no is it devalues the Hall of Fame, because now someone needs to play 2 years and they can make it in. You would say it's possible at least. On the other hand, I look at it, how many people are in the Hall of Fame? Hundreds. Right? He is the second best or best player that has ever set foot on an NFL field.
Wow.
How can he not make it?
Well, that comes down...
He's top 2 all-time right now in ability.
Doesn't that come down to similar to our argument with Khalil Mack versus J.J. Watt, or Von Miller?
But Khalil Mack is not on the same... If Matthew Stafford was J.J. Watt, right? Then Khalil Mack's not Patrick Mahomes. All right. Then Khalil Mack is Lawrence Taylor times 7, because Patrick Mahomes is much better over Stafford than Khalil Mack is over all these other guys. Right? You got to look at the dimension of quality here. It's not like it's close, right? It's not like anyone else is close to Mahomes or has ever been in terms of quarterbacks.
I think he is the best. This is completely out of character, out of gimmick here. I think he is the best player in the NFL. I just don't know if he's quite as high as you're putting him.
He is the best player in the league right now, undoubtedly, and he's the most gifted quarterback to have ever played.
Wow.
Right now. If he retires today, he retires as the most gifted quarterback to ever play.
Wow.
And that's undoubtable. Actually, I feel like that is quite clear.
Until Tua gets up there and takes over.
Oh yeah, let Tua happen, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see about that. But right now, you can't expect this to repeat, right? You can't expect Lawrence Taylor, Jerry Rice to repeat, and you can't expect Patrick Mahomes to repeat either.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Let us know in the comments what you think as the viewer. Who of these people goes into the Hall of Fame? Who does not? Does Patrick Mahomes go? Does Matthew Stafford go? What's more important for a quarterback? The big success in a short time, or the consistency over a long time? Let us know, and drop us a like on the video. We're reporting right before the NFL draft. We got 1 more week to go, and hopefully, if we can make it happen time-wise, we'll be back with some more draft talk next week before the event goes down, and we're looking forward to it, because finally we got some new sport events, which is definitely fun, and it's gonna be different now. So luckily we're gonna get some action again. It's been way too long, so I'm already looking forward to that one. Hopefully you are too. Drop a like, and if we don't have anything else to talk about, we're gonna see you in the next one.
That's it.